What are the negative side effects of creatine? So, creatine is a molecule that actually your body creates, and all animal products have some amount of creatine as well. So, it's a very natural and necessary molecule for every human being. But taking additional supplemental creatine can often come with a few unintended negative consequences. And in the short term, these can include things like cramping and diarrhea and things of that nature. And so you're going to want to have a lot of water when you take creatine monohydrate so that you can prevent this. Now, it won't prevent it all the time, but in many cases, the creatine and water is going to be a lot better than just taking creatine on its own. So make sure that you're taking as much water as possible before you determine whether the side effects are too much for you. Now, the long-term effects include things like kidney failure or kidney problems, and a lot of that is actually myth. If you have existing kidney problems, I would recommend you speak to a doctor before taking creatine. However, I think that if you look at the database studies and other websites that have information about studies, you're going to find that a lot of that fear about the kidney problems actually overblown. The studies on people who actually have kidney problems already show that taking high doses can actually have no adverse effects. So that's a really important factor to keep in mind. I would not suggest that you take it if you have kidney problems without speaking to a doctor, but again, that's something to keep in mind. The final thing is, if you're feeling negative adverse effects from a creatine blend or a pre-workout that you're taking, be sure that the problem is not one of the other ingredients as opposed to the creatine itself. So I would recommend taking just a typical creatine monohydrate, or the enhanced creatine formula is a more efficient way of getting creatine, but it doesn't have all the stimulants and other ingredients that are going to cause you to perhaps have side effects. So keep those things in mind when you're buying your product and when you're testing whether it's something that's working for you or not.